Let's go. What's up, guys? How are you doing? Why does this look dirty in the camera? It looks perfectly fine here from my view. Damn it. Can't even dress myself. Still DLC not released. It's 4 minutes past. Can they get anything right? Think we'll wait a second here then. I was thinking we're just gonna do a couple of things this stream. And maybe we can get this to be the somewhat regular thing on this channel, just accept the horrible results in SRO, which is also a regular we have here. But no, I was thinking to maybe try every week or something like that. Just go have like a very brief introduction of the LFM tracks of the week. Not a track guide or something, but just going through the major 1-2 points or something, right? Just do a quick lap there to give everybody the smallest of heads up or something and advertise some setups. And then yeah, there should be the DLC dropping from the more ultimate, so we're going to take a look at that. I mean, I think it's just, I mean, they announced Imola and cars, right? So I don't think there were any physics stuff or features other than literally just the content, but we'll see what the changelog says, or if they say anything on Twitter. Perhaps they already let us know something. DLC pack announced. For more information, check the website. So I'm checking the website right now. They didn't link to a specific article, so that's bad, guys. Seriously, if you have news to share the news. This is also weird. The news on their website are not sorted by date, but something else. So it's 11th of June, 23rd of July, 19th of July. So it goes up, then goes down, or goes down, then up, depending on how you look at it. Well, yeah, SRO's the Journey Matters relationship, is it? Championship? SRO is just a preparation to be calmer when the real season starts in LFM. Restart Steam. Le Mans Ultimate. Step into the paddock with a season pass. The first DLC pack announced, but there are no links. Where's the shop page? DLC. In library. Pack 1 DLC seems to be there. Or we get the season pass. What's the season pass? How much is it? Oh, add to your wish list. You cannot buy it yet. Pack 1. Add to your wish list. Can't buy it yet. Mikey boy, thank you. Good to hear. I have so much more in my head to make it easier for you guys to not really actually having to analyze the data, but the kind of what the data should tell you, just jumping right in your face so that you don't really have to do this whole tedious analysis stuff. But we like right now in the background we're working on finally deploying or converting the new layout, which is gonna look really good and make the website look modern, give it a new color scheme in line with the logo, and be more common in the way using the normal website stuff there. Once that's out the way, then we can look into more features again. And in the meantime, we are also adding Automobilista 2 already works on our testing page. And then we're gonna roll that out together with Automobilista 2 coming to LFM. And then we'll just have to see how it's gonna work actually with setups. But I think Automobilista is, because it's not just GT3s, there's much more cars. I think a lot of people just won't have the time for doing their setups and diving into the game, so might be even more useful there to provide some. But probably, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll have to get people to do sort of bundles. But we'll see how LFM does it in the end. All plays into or ties into what LFM is going to do, if there's going to be a scheduled list of tracks, for example. And then we'll just fall in place with Popometer to do whatever LFM does there. And then we'll need a couple people. Well, Jacob, I'm very open to learning, as you are as well, I believe. You're also learning from your mistakes, right? I heard something. No, I'm always, I mean, look, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm also doing it for interested people. So I'll just take the leap, look at the DLC, see if the Peugeot drives any different with the wing now, how the Lambo sounds, how Imola gets across. And then you decide if you want to have that or not. I still think the game has good potential. It's just still suffering from still really showing what it's based on, which is the R Factor 2 mess, kinda. DLC release. I shall refresh the page. Add to cart. But now I also want to see what the season pass is, because I'll eventually probably end up buying it all, because I'll always show you. I don't know. Maybe we just go with the pack for now, because I don't know what else is coming in. And the season pass. Yeah, I think we don't want to finance this too much, right? We want to show them, okay, we give you that chance. We give you a little money, but we're not giving you the green card. So I'll get the pack, all right. Add to cart. View my cart. Nah, F5 works perfectly fine for me. Yeah, but what are the other DLCs, Jacob, and are they actually coming? That's the thing. Are they gonna be bankrupt before that? And are we just extending the time until they are? So I'm thinking. So they are, it's gonna be what? Now we get, which hypercars do we get now? 1 or 2 that are new? And the track? And then it's gonna be 3 more of these kind of things. So all in all, it's gonna be 50 euros, 48 euros, and the season pass is what? 47. So you're saving €1 if you take the season pass. No, I'm fine with what we have then. I'll go one by one, all right? I think that's fine. Looks to be fair. PayPal. I think we do PayPal, or we try at least. Email. Ah, that's an issue. Because, of course, in using the Steam browser, I, of course, don't have my login details saved. Which means I don't have the password, because the password is hyper cryptic. So we're gonna do some instant transfer or something. Great stuff. Also fine. Save my payment information. Well, go ahead, just leave me alone, mate. Earn Steam points for this purchase. What have you ever used Steam points? I'm not sure. Okay, what else do we have here? Do we know what series LFM is implementing for AMS2? No. I'm only... So they're gonna send me... What's my phone number? I think this. Yeah. The thing is, Avatar? What do you mean? It's gonna be part of the DLC or? Dragolin, yes. But the problem is I really don't know anything about that. But yes, you're not wrong there. And also gotta be 3-dimensional track maps and things like that. Oh, now I need the app again. So this is like, this is not just kind of 2-factor authentication. This is like at least 4-factor authentication. First, I get an SMS with a code I need to confirm. Then I go to the site, enter my bank details. Then I get something on my phone where I need to at least use my fingerprint or my eyes to identify myself. Then swipe something and then it identifies me again. So, well, that's hyper secure. An unexpected error has occurred. Well, but maybe it's too secure. Your purchase has not been completed. Please wait a few minutes and try again. Well, but my card is empty, so perhaps I do own it regardless. New DLC for Le Mans has been added to your account and will be installed along with the game. I guess you go ahead then. No, it just doesn't install anything. Na, ach, ist so, na, alles gut. Ich glaube, ich hab's jetzt auch. Machen wir beim nächsten. Gebe ich dir diese Möglichkeit. Da bin ich ganz selbstlos. So it will be, then I just restart Steam. Maybe it just then recognizes that it actually has something new to do. Yeah, was a tough run. I saw many incidents, but also during the race, I saw behind that the LFM team with Sherrod driving, they got several penalties in a row, including a drive-through eventually because of too many penalties in a single race. But then I watched the replay and I feel, yes, he was driving rather aggressively and there was minor contact, but none of that I think really warranted a penalty. At least it didn't warrant as many penalties and definitely didn't warrant a drive-through, so it was a bit weird. Update queued. Yeah, well, don't queue it, do it. What are you waiting for? Download. Download now. Up next. It's so weird, it's not doing it. Then we download WRC first because that's working. Yeah, but I mean, if you get too many license points in a single race, then you get the drive-through, right? That's what I meant, yeah. So if you get too many license points, or which means penalties in a single race, you do get the thing. Something is weird with it. Ah, now it's downloading. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know your incident, established. What's your download speed, Jacob? 15 Mbit? 6? I mean, I'm complaining about Vodafone all the time, but I know some people in, well, Germany do have worse. 6 Mbit. Hilarious, mate. It's just so bad. 6 Mbit is literally not internet. 2.6. I think the last time I had 6 Mbit was when I was 18, mate. That's 20 years ago. I think sending letters with ones and zeros might be faster, Jacob. The only thing that's lasting a long time right now is WRC unpacking. But they can do this later. Downloading Le Mans Ultimate with... what's that? 60 Mbit? 600 Mbit. 60 megabyte per second. Right now. Speeding up 65 megabyte per second. Well, I also don't have fiber, Jacob. We just use the TV cables here. When Germany was still divided. Well, I think it's divided again. There's just no border or wall. Yeah. Latvia did the right thing. They don't have firms to install it. Crazy. But yeah, I'm downloading the 14 gigs Le Mans update right now. I don't know why one track 3 files is 14 gigs, but I guess they're updating way more files than just that one. Actually, there is a reason. That's EA. I think they did something on the internet last week here in the street. There were a couple holes in the ground at other houses. Maybe they were doing fiber there or something. But they also had to cut the cable connection that I have a couple minutes every now and then. You downloaded 3.5. I downloaded 6.9, 7, 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5. It's a different life, Yannick, if you have to plan downloading games overnight. It's not instant gaming. 9 GB now, Jacob. Oh, Rody, I didn't know you were in Germany. I thought you were in Greece or something. No? Is that just me thinking that? Louis downloaded in 5. But 45 is still good. Could have been way longer. Oh yeah, MS Flight Sim updates. That's the downfall of society there. It's horrible. Forgot to download on Saturday, so you can't play on Sunday. Gotta wait for next weekend, literally. You catching up? I have 13 now. 2 Mbit, Jesus Christ. That's Edge internet. Well, the bigger problem for these games for me would be I'd need a new hard drive with them. They better make bundles. You buy the game and they send you a SSD. Well, you could watch, but yeah, watching takes more bandwidth away from you, so maybe don't watch. I don't think so. I don't think there were any... I don't know if there's a changelog or anything. I think it's literally just a DLC. Mate, I don't have a CD or DVD drive anymore. I always have to... If there's something I need from a CD, I have to open up an old laptop, wait for it to, I don't know, come back alive, do 8 hours of updates. And then I can use the DVD drive. Yeah, but then you also need to have one more NVMe slot, right? Or you probably need to come with a PCIe adapter or something. Yeah, why don't they just send you the game installed on the SSD? That would be probably the smarter thing to do. Or Thunderbolt drive, or did we have Firewire in the past? Yeah, USB sticks would be smarter and faster. I have no idea, guys, about the triples. I don't have triples myself. I only have the ultra wide, and USB 4 support PCIe through USB. We sound very nerdy now. Perhaps. PC does USB 3 not? Okay, so do we let the EA Sports thing finish? I don't think so, because I played it like 5 minutes in my lifetime, which means I think we're gonna stop the music and hope that Le Mans Ultimate works. Oh, maybe before that, because we can probably do this quick, guys. We can probably do this quick. Is just give a quick look at what MOZA has been cooking. And maybe that's here. There we are. They have been cooking a little. Can you see it, or is the camera? No, you can see it. They brought out the wheel that Fanatec wanted to bring out 3 years ago. I have the Samsung 49-inch with the nano LED or whatever they call it. Yeah, MOZA cooked the Bentley wheel. And in the video they did, it was really fast cut. So let's see here. Because I think when you turn the wheel, the sensor is just too slow, or the reaction of the display is just too slow eventually. Like, it's all nice and fancy, but I think if you actually turn the wheel, which they're just not going to do in this video, are they? It's still always going to be delayed, right? It's never going to be snappy, I think. Do they have a video somewhere? Come on, guys. Don't let us drown here. Brother Ooh. Brother Ooh. I never get the Ooh right. Brother Ooh. Brother Ooh. Yeah. Like, it does look nice, right? Plenty of buttons and all, but fancy. It's more the fancy stuff than the useful stuff, I feel. I'm afraid. But yeah, no videos here. Why? They only had it on Twitter then. Let's check it here. I can't do full screen because then I think it dies again. Can do like this though. Here, let's see. Please turn the wheel for us. There you go. Yeah. Maybe it's not as slow as the Bentley wheel. I don't know. Oh, they all already have it. Damn it. I'm irrelevant. You're right though, Phil. Right? There's just the processing takes so long, perhaps, right? Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I only look at my wheel when I'm looking for a specific button or something, but usually not, right? So for me, its display would be overkill. I already have displays in the game and the HUD in the game and all that. So maybe without the audio. It seems to be at least a better attempt than what the Fanatec Bentley Beetle was that never came. It was actually funny because there was the Hot Lab leaderboard inside ACC for the Bentley wheel. Like, if you won the leaderboard, you'd get the Bentley wheel. And it was with Dominic Blyer at the time, I think he was maining the Bentley. And I asked him to send me his setup just so I could be sure, because I had no clue about the car. And sent me the setup. Then I drove and beat his time. Luckily in the first run by a tenth or something. But it was after the deadline for the hot lead leaderboard, so I wrote to AK Informatica, who were running it, that my time should be ignored, and I should keep second place, not first. And I dodged the Bentley wheel, and I just got a Fanatec voucher, and he won the wheel that he never got. So I outsmarted the competition. All right, shall we try Launch Le Mans Ultimate? Shall we try Launch Le Mans Ultimate? Quickly checking, graphic card is allowed to use full power. We'll probably have to change that, because that's going to give us 5,000 FPS, I think, when the game runs. I also have to make sure nothing else that could interfere with Le Mans Ultimate is running. We don't need this. Okay, let me start Le Mans Ultimate, because it tends to be very sensitive to doing anything else prior to running the game. So let's see. Bye, Yannick. Will lead to copyright strikes and demonetization of the video. Stupid, I know. Don't you talk down on Peugeot? Mate. I'm pretty sure this car is going to cause us issues with the telemetry recording. But the menu is snappy. Which is really good. It's working. No other classes. Perhaps we want to be alone with the hypercars. 1 hour of practice. Time of day or something. Real weather. Tire wear real. Fuel wear. Rules real. No, Jacob. R factor tends to have an issue when you have too many sound effects. So it was a recommendation to avoid issues to actually lower the amount of sound effects. Hey Artem, I read the question before, but the issues I don't really know. Like, my expectation is irrelevant. So we can just go by what Kunas tells us. Kunas has showed a couple road cars, right? We got screenshots of a Hyundai or something. We saw the Nordschleife. Connect the dots. Someone got disappeared from the chat. Oh, poor Rody. Older GT3. Look, guys, one sec. Sorry for the stickers. It's keeping the screws in place. Well, that's an old style GT3 wheel, okay? With an actual shifting, what do you call a whip? So I can go up and down on the same pedal here. But the cable keeps breaking because it's in a really delicate spot. And if you turn it, then I tried to strengthen it here, but it keeps breaking, so I'm not using it. It's also pretty big. And that's the rim that came directly from a Z4 GT3 car. I wanted to send it to Dizzy, but he never gave me the address. So maybe we'll pick that up. I wanted to, indeed, yeah. Yes, you did, Jacob. You did. Or Jakub. Rocker shifter. Good word. Now I have some for that. Okay, start the race weekend, I guess, right? Practice length 1 hour. That's going to be plenty. I just need to make sure quickly in controls that my steering rotation, I just need to quickly go to the VRS driver and set it to 900 because it's wrong otherwise. Quit game? No, we just want to go back from the settings to where I was. Oh, that works. Good. Noobto, what do you mean the car from your teammate? You're driving a Lambo LMDH or LMH or whatever? Well, then you tell us all about it. And I'll just drive it. You give the information that everybody needs to hear. But I'm waiting for the LMU guys to pop up in stream. Oh, let's see if the game actually starts. But it's still loading. The number is increasing and it hasn't crashed yet, so looks like progress. What do you mean? He's your teammate in the real car, or does he also sim race? Yeah, give setup data. Do you min-max? Do you min-max your setup even in the sim? Nice. Good to know he does that. But is he playing LMU or what's he into? Because I know he's driving GT3 mostly, right? The LMDH is new to him. Oh, it's at 91%. No, I think it killed itself. But I know a solution. There's for whatever reason, there is, you can't see that, but there is like Le Mans Ultimate has several processes running. Oh, now it just worked. Okay, we just had to wait. So everything works. Everything just works, guys. Mark your calendars. I started Le Mans Ultimate and it worked. Are we ready for this time of day, year, life where Le Mans Ultimate just works on my PC? Now I feel we need to start making it crash. Tires. I'm just gonna ignore that we can go to tires and car setup separately, but okay. Expected wear per lap, 10%, 10%. So when they both wear 10% a lap, then why would we not use the medium? Do we have a soft? No. I guess no need to touch car setup. No CDA setup yet. What are you guys doing? The car is out for like half an hour. Speed up. Speed it up, guys. I think we just go driving, right? Full tank, virtual, and blah, blah, blah. Does it any of this matter? Probably not. We just want to hear how it sounds. Sounds electric. Sounds like the LMP2. What engine do they have? Don't they have a V12? What are they running engine-wise? Ah. Okay. I just have the issue that escape doesn't work. We've been there. All good. We've been there. All fine. Gotta crank up the volume a bit. Was a bit silent. Better. V8 twin turbo. Okay, sorry. I thought they... Okay, now FPS have gotten really low. Why? That shouldn't be. So something is happening again. We did call it too soon. We did call it too soon. We can't adjust anything here. Nice. Because FPS should be way higher than that, for sure. It's 100. $130. Okay, that we can live with that. But it should be more, I think. Yeah, go. Let the AI go. Oh. Okay. There's a basic resistance when you're going off center in the steering wheel, but from there, it immediately goes into nothingness. But let's warm the tires up. I know this was a thing. Oh boy. Does the AI have tire warmers? Because I certainly don't. Like, that's all the grip I have. Maybe the AI doesn't have any fuel on board. Yeah, it's still the same thing, that the steering just doesn't really tell you anything, unfortunately. And now it's stopped, I think. Oh no. I have the sound, but I don't have the image. No, it's just stream dead. Why? It's weird. Stream looks fine here. Control Shift Alt Win B to restart GPU driver. Well, that certainly ends the stream. Yeah, I don't know what happened really. Can't tell you. It just decided to not produce anything anymore. It's, I don't know, I feel Lemma Ultimate is somehow not getting along with my 4090. Maybe it's just my particular 4090. Because the game shows 150 FPS, but it feels like 80 or something. It's always a bit, YouTube is not receiving blah blah blah. I think it is. I think we're all good. YouTube is just confused, yeah. YouTube not receiving enough video. It's so weird. Everything is weirded out. Try DX11? Like how? You mean, is there an option when you start the game or something? Yeah, I don't know. It's game optimization stuff. I think I don't know what's happening there. To be honest, we shall. What we're gonna do is we go to the default mode in the graphics card, okay, and then we close all the tools because I know that game doesn't like the overlays. They still recommend shutting down the overlays, which is a bit bad. And we try again. All right. None of the overlays are running, so we started it again. Stream Lounge out, DX11. We're just gonna see. Like since the release of the game, they said that there might be issues when you're running some of the. Wait, what's that here? Gotta run the AC. PC was cooking. Yeah, that the game just doesn't like all those Riva tuner statistics server or hardware info 64 running in the background, things like that. But it saved everything here at least, so all the settings are still there. So we can just go again, I guess. Any expected date for AMS2 coming to LFM? I think it's gonna be there once 1.6 drops. And they are, I can tell you, they are really far in the beta form, okay? That's as much as I can say. Well, I don't know what I can say, but I'm trying to be careful. But it should be far away. If you ask me, within the next 2-3 weeks, looking at their update frequency, so to say. But yeah, could be entirely wrong. Maybe it just takes longer, maybe faster, who knows? Maybe a month. Maybe your expectations won't be disappointed if you're expecting 2 months. I don't have Race Room installed at all. I decided at some point that Race Room is not going to be a relevant game anymore. Just too old. Just too old. So somebody said something about if I go out with the AIs, if it's 120, then you can't reach their lap times. As an example, that in Le Mans, they nearly take Porsche corners flat with 120. Okay, so they're just OP or what? LMU with reshade on with fake HDR filter looks good. But I don't want to like... I get that you can do things to your game, but I really do not want to do additional stuff outside the game when playing the game. It's just overkill, if you ask me. I don't want to adjust the virtual energy. I just want to adjust the fuel. But okay, we shall not care. Just half fuel, perhaps. I don't know what the AI is set to. Honestly, I didn't adjust anything right now. Let's just see if it. FPS are higher now. I just don't... No, FPS are still trash. It's the thing, it's not utilizing the GPU. Maybe it's just because we have AIs on track and they somehow need too much CPU resources or something. Let's remove the AIs, okay? We don't need them. I just turned the AI off because that is just to be sure, okay? Yeah, I don't know what it's just not utilizing the card. It's super weird. I had this experience before. I just need to restart the PC and the only thing I start is Le Mans Ultimate. And as soon as anything else is running, it just produces, it uses half the graphics card only. No, but the 4090 should be able to run the game, and I had the game run better in the past, so it's just a thing that is now for whatever reason again. I shouldn't be forced to turn down shadows with that PC. Like, makes no sense. Shouldn't be the case. Shouldn't be the case. Oh, and we are in really cold weather. I know the game does not like that, so we will hardly get the tires up to temperature. Yeah, FPS are much better now. It's like 150 locked. 130, well, okay. But that's 40 more than we just had before. Yeah, it's not the graphics. It can't be, they don't look too good. I wonder if cold tires IRL are really that bad, but okay. Like that's a maximum steering angle it will take, otherwise it just understeers. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's something wrong with how the game uses my card. I don't know what's happening. And I can see the image is choppy as well. It's weird. It's not 150 FPS. I might be seeing half of them. No, we need to fix that. We need to somehow fix that. Something is still wrong. I just don't know what it is. Like, it's only that game. Anything else in the PC just works. 240 hertz. Windowed. Borderless. Full screen. But then we can't tab. So that's bad. I don't, there's nothing insane here. This should just work. Yes. The problem is that the game show is still, it's just not performing well. That's the problem. I think I have a FPS cap somewhere though, but it still drops below the cap, which it shouldn't. And if I show you the, wait, I can do it because it actually didn't influence anything. For TSS, I bring the stats into the screen. Just give me a second. It takes a moment here to adjust that. Once I find it, will it? Hello there. 1 sec. We'll type 1800. There you get the stats. That's fine. No, we need to go way further, like 400. Put them there. Right. So now you see what I see. And what we're looking for is the GPU utilization wattage. And somehow, and the card is like from the settings of the drivers here. 1 sec. The card is free to do whatever. Okay. It can use more power and more voltage, whatever it wants. It's completely free to use whatever, not limited in any way. And then you'll see in the game, it's just not using as much as it has available. Why would I need to do an integrity check on the game after it does an installation? Shouldn't it automatically do that? No, I can't, because I literally haven't used that. Do they have DRS even? Do they have boost? They don't have boost. They don't have electrical boost. These cars do not have boost. And they do not have DRS, right? But DRS should be something next to your thumb. Okay, now the game crashed. What was the key combo? But I mean, the game started, so when files are missing, wouldn't the game just not run at all instead of running bad? So yeah, I'm still haunted here. I don't know what to do. Any other game, not an issue. This game, always issue. So we were calling it too early somehow. Like, we can do an integrity check, and we're back in this whole thing why the game sucks. Like, I don't want to start the game and then be, oh no, before the game works, you have to do an integrity check. No! That's not the method how your game should work. Just shouldn't. Just shouldn't at all. We do it, but it just shouldn't be the way. it's shit. Like if every time you run the game or update it, you need to do integrity of game files check, then it's broken. Sorry. No, I'm not adjusting the NVIDIA control panel for a specific game. If there's something that crashes the game, I don't know. It's all default, guys. It's all working on any other game, just not this. I'm not changing things for a particular game. Just not happening. It's the wrong way. If you have to do this, you are never going to sell copies because 99% of PC users are completely unable to do this kind of stuff. They get the PC to start, double click a game, and that's as far as people will take it. So this is a way you got to do. If you have a game where you need to tell people, oh, actually to play our game, it's a little more complicated to then just start it. You need to do this, you need to do that, and then get to your driver, change this particular setting. You might not have this because you have a particular graphic card, and also do the integrity check and maybe uninstall, actually reinstall again. This could maybe work. This is just not a method, okay? We just agree on that. So either works or doesn't. So that's my point here. It works or doesn't. And the game doesn't give me any feedback about what. Yeah, and now we have the laggy menu, do we? No, that works. So let's see how far we get this time around. Next. Turn off the other classes. At least the menu is snappy now. Start the race weekend and see. Nah, no, that worked after restarting PC. That was fine then. But Rennsport is, as we know, Rennsport is also R Factor 2, so I'm not surprised. It's very weird though. Maybe the 4090s are just not ready for. I have no clue what it is. It doesn't give me. Yeah, something happened. It did crash. But now I can make it uncrash by, yeah, tabbing out somehow. You see how the frame times are just not consistent, so something is afoot. Okay, now better when we are not in the menu. But I can already see when I turn the steering wheel, this is not the amount of FPS it shows. It looks like 60 hertz. And now it's using 220 watts and says maximum utilization. It should be using 360 if it needs that, right? So it's still not. Look, guys, okay, ultimate, only thing I can do here. I'll restart the PC because that actually cured the whole thing for Rennsport. And I know the reboot of the PC generally is fast enough to keep the stream alive on YouTube, and then I can reconnect. So that's what we're gonna do. We will restart the PC because these games somehow they have an issue when you're doing anything else. Why, this is all wrong. Yeah. When you do anything else than starting the game, first thing you do. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll stop streaming, restart the PC in, well, super high speed, reconnect to the stream, and see you in a minute, hopefully. No, there is no issue with the PC. Everything else works, okay, guys? The RAM speed is correct. You need to stop this. I hate it, guys. Please don't. I know you're trying to help, but it's only this game, okay? Anything else works. Stop putting it on the PC. It is not. And here we are again. Thanks for staying with me. Just need to bring up the chat 1 sec. Where's the chat? Here. Pop out the chat. Here we go. Life. Do you drive with different keyboards? Knock on wood. I did that. I can tell you that. So, nothing else done. I just started the game. Let's see what it does to us this time around. It's very weird that it's so sensitive. It shouldn't be. It should just work. Here we are. Race weekend, all good. Like all the other issues we had in the past with the menu not working and all, that's gone. It loads onto the track. But then somehow on the track, it's still not ideal so far. Let's see. It is very weird. I don't know what it does or why or probably because I'm tinkering with the GPU power in other games, because from the 4090 you need like half the power of the 4090 to run ACC with max settings 180 FPS or so. Yeah, now you can see now already the power draw is higher. So just restarting the PC, starting the game first thing, then it works. Because whatever. And I have no clue why. Oh! It crashed. Why? I'm trying again. I don't know what it does. I don't know what's happening. I'm just clicking the buttons and then it crashes. Yeah, I think also just the entire making PC games thing issue is around that you have such a large variety in hardware and hardware combinations that your game needs to just work with. And that's why developing games for consoles is much nicer, because literally everyone has the same freaking hardware, or at least you know what you're dealing with like 3-4 different platforms or combinations, right? So have you PS5, PS5 Pro and that sort of stuff. But on the PC, the variety of possible settings and drivers and all that is just so large. It might just work on your PC, guys, right? It's just here that it's hyper messy for whatever reason that we're never gonna get behind, I feel. Just very unfortunate. Car setup. So, a little less fuel, start driving. And this time around it works for up until here. So now the FPS are also staying 150. It's pulling 300 watts now, just after the PC restart. And tell me, why does it not do that when the PC was running for an hour and I was using Discord, the browser, and I don't know what else really. So it's perfectly fine now. It's using way more power than it needs, but okay, we'll be fine with that. But now it's also, for me, the image is smooth. So maybe we can get to the driving now. After the tires are warm. The first lap, just 30 minutes into the stream, so we're quick today. Well, it's not a complete lap yet, maybe 3 corners. And also I want you to notice, like you see the lights on top of the steering wheel. Well, not on top of the steering wheel, on the dash, right? So the lights for the ABS, those red lights there, right? You see those. And you see them also when the TC comes up as green lights. And they are hyper valuable because the information they give about the tire locking is just not available in any other way in the game. I still don't have anything about that in the force feedback or in the audio. I can't really... The TC is very hard to hear. It's acting either very fine-tuned, and that's why you don't feel anything about it, but also the tire locking. The steering wheel is just... It's just kind of going through a pizza dough with your hands. But that's something that hasn't changed, so it's not a new complaint. That is just still how the game fundamentally is, and how they, I guess, decide how they want to model this, or they're working on something. I know this is just a topic on how you approach force feedback. Either you take the real route and say, well, the real cars, they have the power steering. There isn't much to have because they drive with their senses and the spine and the G-forces. And that's why in the steering wheels you have the power steering. There isn't really much available. Just a bit of bumps, okay, we get that apparently. But you don't really get information about what the tires are doing, the cars are doing, how much you're using it. Right up from here, it's just all the same force is the same everything. So you're always in the dark with that. And if you are someone who relies a lot on force feedback for driving, outside of oversteer, right? Oversteer perfectly fine. If the rear comes around, I can feel that works. But anything else that is actual information, right? The bumps are there, fine, good. But about what the car is doing, where it's going, what it's going to do next, that information is just not there, except for the oversteer, but nothing else, nothing about the front tires. And that's why you just need a lot of game time, or completely change your senses. You always have half an eye focused on those red lights there to give you an idea of whether or not you're braking too much or too little. Try 959 for TC. Why are we adjusting this already? 959. Well, it seems to plant the rear. It looks worse in the stream now? Why? Makes no sense. How does the stream look then, guys? That makes no sense. We are... It might be on YouTube though, because we are sending... Oh, yeah. It is indeed. Now the game is taking... That is so... I see it myself. OBS looks very weird now. OBS looks like 30 FPS. This game just fucks with the PC, guys. Insane. And I don't know what it does. Now, might be using too much of the GPU now. I have no clue. Stream looks fine. Yeah, it's not... And look how often we talk about hardware and performance issues in ACC streams. Never. Literally never. Now it's good. Okay. Also weird. Because it didn't change anything. Yeah, the rear is... Well, I'm not going to use the word, but floatiness is the word. Let's warm the tires up. They're still cold. Maybe we have also like weather issues here because it's just 21 degrees, I think. So it's going to be very difficult to get the tires up to temps. Going to be aggressive here. Now you can get it around the track, not an issue. But you're always second guessing the car. And you're always trying something on the wheel to see the car's response, and then it doesn't really do anything. Would that kind of GT3 breakpoints kind of work? No. I get the tire sound thing because it's not there IRL. It's only there if we kind of crank the wheel to maximum. It does sound like the LMP car, doesn't it? Oops. Well, it looks fast, I think, because the cars are fast, right? I mean, the 300 is gonna look fast. Might just be proper field of view, though. But then, in Rennsport, you can set whatever field of view, and there's just no sense of speed, right? But it might just also be the cars, because they have a big difference between straight line and corner speed. Especially tight corners, slow corners are really slow for these cars because they're heavy and very aero dependent, and they get really fast in fast turns, so to say. Oh, Kevin Estra style into the turn. But that's the thing, the lockup doesn't really... The lockup doesn't communicate with me early enough. I only get it because the steering wheel goes all the way sideways, but I can't yet control it on the verge there. My wheelbase does not have any damping, nope. So that is removed. And again, the bumps and everything, it's here, right? Look at it, it's all there, no problem. It's just no front end feel, that's the problem in that game. Or in anything that is, no, too far. I mean, we keep saying the same thing again and again every stream, that in R Factor this is also present in some cars. And on other cars it's not an issue, right? It's always the Tattoos Formula cars where it's fine, I think. And many other cars where you have this vagueness where you don't know, do I turn the wheel 30 degrees or 60? Doesn't make a difference outside of the tire temperature. And then you're babying the car on the brake because you don't really have a lot of feedback. And I just wait for the red lights to come up in the dash to tell me. And I don't know, I'm personally just not... I don't feel like I'm immersed in the race car, driving it based on LEDs flashing in my face. right? It tells me when I'm overdriving the rear when the green lights are coming up, and it tells me when I'm overdriving into the turn when the red lights come up. But I don't know, it's not very rewarding to drive along lights, if you know what I mean. They don't have to warm up if the ambient is cold. And maybe I'm just not attacking them enough. Maybe we need to steer more. Maybe we just need to warm them orange. Maybe then they come alive. I don't know. I think it's 21 degrees. 1 sec. Core is 65 or something around that now. It's just cold track, I guess. Or cold ambient. No, I don't have front end feel with the GTEs, but they also don't have rear end feel. They are even worse with the rear end than now with the front end. I agree, Nomada, I agree. There are definitely things I like about it. Like somehow the cars, they feel very much in... No, there's a lot of things happening with the car that seems all correct. Like every little bounce in the car goes through to the engine RPM. It's very direct here in high speeds, at low steering angles, gives you a good feeling. But as soon as you go for corners, the feeling is completely gone. And you're solely driving on, yeah, kind of laps and experience, but you're not driving on the feedback it gives you, I feel. I'm just hyper careful the entire time. I don't feel in charge, so to say, you know? You can't tell if this is fast or not. I think the multiplayer they had, it worked, right? I mean, we had a few races there. Maybe we can try one. But the thing is, I don't know my licenses actually, if I'm even eligible. Oh, too loud? Really? Oh yeah, it's screaming a bit little. How do we best do this? Should have said earlier, mate. We just go down here 15% or something. Maybe that works. No, it's the... I actually don't know the vendor. No, definitely not a Founders Edition or something. Now it's a bit more silent, the game, right? Is that enough? Alright. So let me warm the tires a little more. Well, it doesn't really last. Like, the counter steer is very intuitive. It even does it itself, really. I don't have to do anything. It counter steers before I can react, so this is all good. But it's still this... I can't put a finger on it, but it's still... Floatiness is the best word I have for it. Where the car is kind of doing things, but it doesn't really have grip doing so. The tire isn't firmly connected to the road, it's just vaguing about. But that's nothing that's the Lambo or the DLC. We're again back to the game in general there. Hear this. How long that... I don't know, it's as soon as you're in the slip, it never... There's no variation in it. It's very weird. I can't describe it properly. I'd love for the game to have more audio cues in the tires or from the tires. Would make me and I'd say a lot of people more comfortable. This is so... The thing is just all the same feeling-wise in the corner. It's the same feeling if you do 120, it's the same feeling if you do 90, it's the same feeling if you turn the wheel 40 degrees, and it's the same feeling if you turn it 60 degrees. And you just don't have an influence over what it does somehow. Nah, I think the Ferrari is still the best car, because... I mean, I did go over this in the video, right? If we swap to the Ferrari, the good thing about the Ferrari is that it has this really loud regen noise, and the regen noise tells you about the tires. Here. And then I'm braking 10% or something, and the tire just locks itself to infinity. Getting iRacing vibes from that. Mate, I don't have filters. No, it's, guys, it's the game. It's just how the game's FFP is. It's not the car. And I'm telling you, I have the curves, I have the crisp stuff, like this vibration here from, it's all there. There are no filters taken it away. It's just the front end doesn't have anything. It's not modeling front end feeling. That's a design choice in this case, and I think it's a wrong choice. That's my point. You don't feel front end, it's not there. It doesn't exist. My driving is the problem. Haven't heard that in a long time. Here. The same thing you get in iRacing when you have the brake on 1% too high. The front tire is incapable. No matter how low you go on the brake, the front tire just never gets in touch with the road again. Once it locks, it locks. Might be realistic, I don't know. Does any of you actually watch WEC or IMSA? And how often do you see the LMDH or GTP cars lock up unrecoverably? I mean, if anybody should have locked up, it's probably the Kevin Estra Le Mans lap. And he was driving the car comfortably on or around the limit there. In a super nasty setup. And I saw him lock the tires multiple times, but they always came back to him. They were never like unrecoverable. Yeah, I agree, Cole Leivicha. It should feel good, exactly. And again, up to a point it does. But as soon as you go near the limit of the tires, that's when it kind of falls apart a bit. Up until then, good. After that, eh. Wait for GT3s? Nah. We have GT3 games already, so I think that's I mean, of course, as the official WEC game, they're gonna have the GT3s, they need to. But I'm not sure this is the area where they'll be attracting other people. Hey, Primoz. You can only drive on vision in the chicane there. Like, you turn to the right, nothing in the wheel. You turn to the left, nothing in the wheel. Five class race. The thing is that locking the inside for Grosjean, the car tells him about it. He has means to sense it. All we have are the lights on the dash. Yeah, warmer tires are definitely better, but it's still, I don't, there comes this point where it's, here, where there's just no response to anything anymore. Are you suggesting to fully lock it? What? Why? Oh, guys, you have to stop making this about different games. This is not a productive thing. I'm describing what my issue is with the feeling. But you always have to make it tribal. It's really annoying. Which makes me dodge the game even more when you're tribal about it. The Lambo is no different than any other car, I'd say. They all... It could just as well be a faster LMP2, heavier LMP2, which, well, it is that is what it is. And it doesn't sound like a Lambo either. Not because that's wrong, but because this is what it is in real life as well. Is it gonna be enough for 31? I think so. Just about. No, heavy braking is fine. As long as you have downforce, it's fine, but the downforce decreases so quickly as the speed comes down that then, like, it feels like sometimes 5% braking, 1% braking already is too much. What am I supposed to test, Steve? What do you want me to test? Shall I do donuts? Is that something you're interested in? No, menu is fine. This is all graphic card shite related. Are your wheelbase settings non-in-game the same as an ACC? Yes, like the VRS base, it basically doesn't have settings. I don't run any filters. There's no friction, there's no damping. It's just on. Give me force feedback, done. Yeah, somebody earlier mentioned that I can turn the game down further. Always very difficult to judge for me. Do it this way. Oh, was it the right setting even? Yeah, it should be. Maybe we do it the other way around. Go down here. No, and test the thing, lock the fronts up. But I mean, well, what test would that be? No, the fronts are locking all the time. You just need to look at the red lights in the dashboard. They are locking the entire time. See there? This red light locking the tire. I think this is the exact point. You are thinking I wasn't locking the tire, but I was. But there are no feedback mechanisms other than the LED lights. This is exactly the point I'm making. You didn't even know I was locking them because the information does not come across. The entire point. There. It's locking. And you don't get any info other than the LEDs. Yeah, the sound is underwhelming because all the cars, yeah, they sound very similar with their V8s. Well, IRL, it's the same thing, I guess. It's difficult to get something from the tires, but in real life, at least, they have the G-forces telling them somehow the car hasn't responded to my input. Somehow my rotation of the car has changed and it's now going straight. And you feel that in your entire body. And that is where sim racing differs. We do not get this. We don't have the minute differences in the forces acting on the body where you could judge the car. And that's why we need other means to feel that. And it could be... now I've waited too long. The tires are just cold and I'm not slamming the brakes there. The thing is that my position in sim racing is that because we are not sitting in the real car, we are stripped from 90% of the feedback that real drivers use to drive the cars. So we need other means to convey the same information through a different channel. Audio, visual, or whatever for feedback. It's not a realism question. It's a question about how do we make this game, these cars accessible without changing the underlying physics. It can still be realistic while giving you different feedback mechanisms that actually put you in charge of the car and don't give you this vagueness the entire time or this unclearness. And other games just do that better. So it's not right. We're not discussing it in terms of, oh, sim racing never does that and it should do. No, some games are doing this, and in LMU so far they are deciding that they're not going this way, which is a fair choice. But then they have to deal with the people being numb in the game and feeling stripped of information that they need to drive the cars. That's the point there. Not about is this realistic or not. The thing is that is it fun driving these cars? Do you feel in charge, or do you always feel on the back foot and wait for the car to kind of slap your wrists? Yes, maybe the FFP needs more in that regard, exactly. And just more from the tires into the force feedback, for example. So let's ruin the fronts here with a major lockup. Takes a moment. But only when you like fully lock them up, you get audio feedback. Before that, not so much. Oh no, I'm getting a penalty for running out of virtual energy. Maybe the game should tell me ahead of time. Or does it tell me that I just don't see the hint? You can feel front end grip in the GTEs. The thing is, do you feel it because you've driven a lot of laps and because you're very adapted to the game and because your brain is taking the visual feedback and audio feedback or whatever you get? Or is it actually the force feedback? Like, take off your headphones, turn off the sound, turn off the screen, go through a corner and tell me you get it in the force feedback. That's what I mean. Well, only if the vibration setting actually draws information from the correct telemetry channel. And I guess the slip that you set it to can differ very much per tire temperature, per car you're driving, per track or whatever. If you are relying, or if you're setting up the pedals with this vibration to some specific value, you're most likely going to get wrong feedback from the pedals, and they're taking your foot off the pedal before you actually should. You only feel the rear end and like curb vibration. That's what you get. That's what it's reduced down to for me. Like, you can see it's doing something here. Just being stationary, fine. I think people are not aware of where they actually get their information from. It's a good test you can do. Just turn off one of the feedback mechanisms to find out which is the one you're relying on, if you're not able to already know. But I know I'm relying a lot on sound to drive the cars. Fine changes in the engine RPM telling me a lot of information. Like, I'm apparently not alone with that opinion, so it would be wrong to discredit it as irrelevant or as wrong, or it's not like that. It is like that. All right, we had a look at that. What do we say about Imola? Is there anything we need to say about Imola? It looks like Imola. It has the new curbs. They vibrate. There's a rain gutter. By the way, a rain gutter. I can't feel that. I know in ACC I can even feel the rain gutter. So we found Imola. We found the Lambo. It drives like all the other MLDH. Sounds like a LMP2. Yeah, what? One point maybe. I feel the LMDH lack character. Maybe they are like that IRL because they're all based on the LMP2. And there's only very small variation between the cars actually, so they maybe do drive all the same. But if you put me in a car in this game, in any of the LMDH except the Ferrari, I don't think I would be able to tell them apart. Let's try the Peugeot if there's anything else. Yeah, but in this game, if you crank up tire sounds, nothing changes because they don't have tire sounds. That's the problem. The tire sound comes when you're like way too far into the tire, but there's no audio level that rises with how much you're using the tire, like in iRacing, like ACC, like I don't know, even R-Factor maybe in some cars. I don't know, to be honest. But if they all sound like the Cadillac, it's also boring, right? There's no difference between them. Does that have the wing? It looks like it's very low, but it's there. Okay, let's try sun, okay? Where's the weather? Done. Warm. Let's do it really warm, because apparently in this game we need tire temperature more than anything else. So let's make it warm. Okay, where's the back button now? Race weekend here. So is it warmer now? It is. Automobilista has the similar thing with the front end that it's not as crisp, but the overall car response is more crisp. So what you're lacking in the wheels is there visually. I feel more. There's a little more from the road in Automobilista. Like there's some scrubbing, some vibration coming if you overuse the tire. But it's also not ideal, I'd say. Well, they have the lights on the dash IRL because the real drivers sitting in front or on top of a V8 engine also can't hear the tires. They just need additional cues as well. I thought I disabled them, but then they enabled them again themselves. Well, I think we are fine FPS wise if it just draws enough from the graphics card. So I think we're good with other cars as well. It's not a problem. Let's just increase fuel to kind of same levels we had on the... I turned on the engine. Does anybody know what's actually different with this car? Probably the regen or the electric power coming to another axle or something. Okay, sounds slightly different. Ah. This is going to be interesting now. Because on the brake, we're getting some regen sound. And to get the regen sound, let's go to motor map. Let's get all the electric engine we can get, so we're always draining the battery. And we are always kind of low on the battery, and they're always in need to recharge. So let's see if we can get to drain it. And then there's some special stuff where the electric engine only provides energy up from a certain... Yeah, there, from 200 is when the battery starts kicking in. And then we're charging. And that's the important bit now. Because we have the charging noise connected to the tires, look at it. The charging noise disappears when we're locking the tires. And now, even though it's not tire noise, we have a feedback mechanism from the braking. And that's gonna change things, because that is what the Ferrari in the game has. And automatically, I am much less likely to look on the LED lights that I have in front of me telling me about the tire slip. I can hear it now without taking my eyes off the road from the regen noise. It's a bit more muted than on the Ferrari. Oh, the TC is horrible. It's too much. Somebody said this, right? So we're just hoping that the same carries over from the other car. It should be louder. That would be even better. It might just be the setup. Maybe it's the car. Maybe it's just warmer now and the tire is better. But the car has a better, more responsive front end. It doesn't go vague as quickly as the Lambo. It's more connected to the steering wheel. It follows the steering input better before going into the understeer. And the rear end doesn't follow the car with the same amount of yaw. It follows better in line. It stays in the grippy zone longer when you drive. So there's also differences between the cars, okay? I acknowledge that. Peugeot fan now? No. Maybe it's just setup. What, the ACC radar? Yeah, it's similar, right? But there's nothing wrong with copying something that is good from other games. They may all copy from one another. But for example now, and also the LEDs here, maybe the sun angle is just bad, but it's hard to see the LEDs. And additionally, you can't really, about the TC, you're also not getting a lot of feedback if you're too aggressive in the throttle. There a bit. So now I'd probably try to turn down noises individually to isolate the regeneration noise a little. Yeah, this car doesn't have the slow speed acceleration problem that the Lambo has. The rear is much nicer. Doesn't float around as much. Doesn't struggle for grip as much. But yeah, I need to be super silent to listen into the regen noise, and then I'm perfectly fine on the brake immediately. No, there are locking lights. I'm just not locking, Steven. Because I'm hearing it now. Look, I'll look it up for you, okay? There you go. You just need to try way harder. Nah, I think that's the brakes are pretty much, I'd say, the same in the GTPs in iRacing and the GTPs in Automobilista 2. It's just how these cars work, and if it would be very different between the games, then one of them would be right and one of them would be wrong. So this, I think, the amount of grip they have throughout the braking zone and how much you need to trail off and bleed off is very similar between all of them. The difference is in how good you feel, what you need to do, and what is happening to the car. And I feel here in the Ultimate, we're still left a bit too much in the dark about the tires and the braking, and it's better in iRacing. It's sensitive, but it's better in iRacing. You get the information about the brake, and yes, if you lock up, it's hypersensitive in iRacing. It's really tricky to recover the tire for that corner, and usually doesn't work. But you definitely have enough information from the game in terms of force feedback, in terms of sound, and in terms of, well, tire noise in particular, where you know this is how much you're using the tire, so you can control the brakes really nicely in iRacing. And Automobilista, I feel it's also a bit more crisp audio-wise, for example, with the braking, and that's why there's more confidence. Like, it works here once you get used to it, but it's much easier in the Peugeot, I feel, than it is in the Lambo, for example. Or I know in the BMW it's also not as nice because you don't have the assist kind of the regen noise. Let's go, we go to the Ferrari next, okay, and then you'll hear this noise much better. It's more pronounced there. Does anybody know the amount of lap time impact temperature has here? Probably not. Because it's somewhere between tires work better, but the engine might work worse or something, less downforce or so when it's warmer. Maybe the brakes of this car are just also better. All the default setup is better, but it's not as sensitive to drive as the Lambo. Well, if you turn off the ABS and ACC, good luck with the braking. You can't slam it anymore when you turn off ABS and ACC, you're just dead. I don't know how much throttle to use on corner exit, because I can't really... PC is hard to judge what it's doing, how much it's doing, how much is too much. Should I be staying out of it? Can I use it? Can I rely on it? So, 31. While passing the Porsche. Oh. They are doing 129. Nice. I'm so bad. The RSR sounds good though. Okay. Shall we do the Ferrari just for comparison, a lap or so? Just so you know what I mean with the sound again. Yes, an LMU initial braking, the car has enough grip to need all the brake you can get. The downforce is just high enough. It's the same in iRacing. I think the initial brake application in iRacing is also 100% in the GDPs. Just slam, but you need to bleed off really, really quickly. Ferrari, there we go. 2024. Well, I guess that one here. Let's turn off the other classes, perhaps. Yeah, I agree. The Ferrari just seems to be, yeah, have the most detail in general. Do we use the CDA setup? Oh no, they can't have one. It's Imola. They don't have one. Maybe that's a general setup though. Do you mind going on the tire page for the MFD? I can do. Devin, sorry. Let's just drive, I guess. So this is what people do here in this game. Hey, Ryan. Oh, we forgot to take out fuel. Anyway. You hear that? Oh, wait, I need to... Let's use a lot, don't recharge too much. Just want the battery to always be empty, kinda, so we always get the regen sound. See, it's much more pronounced than on the Peugeot. But it only starts assisting from 190. See, every tiny touch on the brake gives you feedback there, sound-wise. Immediately becomes intuitive to drive. I mean, in iRacing, for example, you just have brake squeal, right? On, I don't know if all cars, but quite a few. And with the brake squeal, you can also work because it changes once the tire starts locking. It just gets less. See? Right, and you hear the locking up because the regen noise changes. Much more intuitive. I don't know what AI does, but a couple of people mentioned that AI is not a good comparison. I think when you have them on high percentage, they're just too fast. It's just much less of a guessing game now with the car. So it's the same thing over and over. And I don't think it's anything I want to adapt to, really. Just say, well, I live without this noise and this additional feedback. I just live with the fact that I'm starved of information, and I don't think I want that. Yeah, now we have 40 liters more fuel on board and already doing 30 TU7. And wait for the tires to come alive in 1-2 lap. You can just more easily go closer to the threshold of the tire. And that's it. That's all you need. That gives you confidence. Takes away the guessing. You know, I think everything physics-wise, how... I don't know, how the cars drive around is probably not wrong. It's just the feedback that's lacking. Everything underneath is probably just fine. And once the PC decides to work with the game, also the performance seems to be alright. At least on a... Oh. I think I locked the diff there. Oh, they're driving the old Peugeot for whatever reason. And as somebody else said, the speed comes across nicely. They're driving a little like maniacs. Angry French driver, I guess. Morning, Ryan, back to Pennsylvania. Or morning, back to Pennsylvania. What do you mean it doesn't stay consistently 60 FPS? That's a stream thing on YouTube, perhaps, or my OBS or whatever, but in-game I have 150. Connecticut. Good morning as well, I guess. Many from the US. Also just feels like I can now brake much later in the Ferrari, and maybe part of that is just down to the Ferrari. But it's also surely the confidence I have on the brake. Tennessee. Okay, hello. A lot of US. Much easier than before with Lambo. And I'm very aggressive on the brake for quite some time in this car too. Easily into the 31s with full tank. Zero battery doesn't matter. The cars are limited in how much power they output combined. So if it's not using the battery anymore, it's just using more from the engine. And I think it's something like 640 horsepower or something. That's their combined system limit. So it's fine being out of energy in the battery. You even want to be out of energy in the battery, so you always have the regen. Maybe for some cars it's good to have battery left because they have it on the front tires, and then you're essentially driving all-wheel drive out of the corners, which surely helps. You can push so much more now, but also the tires are much better now, right? Just 10 degrees more. But you're watching the stream, mate. The stream is only going to be 60 FPS. If everything in the encoding, decoding, and so far goes right, then you'll have constant 60 FPS in the stream. But yeah, that was going to be 130 or something almost. I don't know if it's optimal, but I definitely don't want to have a full battery going into the braking zone, because then you won't get the regeneration noise, and you definitely want to have that. Okay, enough of this. So the Lambo was underwhelming. The Peugeot was okay. I guess Imola is Imola. So maybe if you want to have that, go ahead and buy it. If you don't fancy the Lambo because it was underwhelming, drives like an LMP2, and you are happy with the cars you have, then you don't need the Peugeot. And if you don't need Imola, don't get it. Well, battery influences braking as there is a regeneration motor connected to your tires. So if that just changes the brake bias throughout the car, for example. And if you suddenly don't have the regeneration happening for whatever reason, because you turn it off or so, or the battery is full, then your brake balance changes. LFM chaos time. Yeah, I didn't want to drive LFM. I just want to go through the tracks, kind of. That makes sense. Wasn't there AI? Was there before? That's not added. No, I don't want to do the race. I think I just wanted to do kind of track guide or something. The noon races, they don't make sense. Yeah, it doesn't have any Lambo vibes to it. Like, in a Lambo, you either have the V10 or V12 madness, and it screams at you, and it's just somewhat insane, but the prototype is just another LMP2 with the Lambo logo on the front. I guess all Rensport. I don't know. And there was also interesting talk. I talked to. So the esports version is different in terms of grip, and it was better, but now they changed it, and it's the same as the public beta, which is bad in terms of how the cars feel. So developing backwards, nice. But maybe they choose to change direction again completely another time. That's the thing. They don't tell us about. Rensport literally, if you look through that, guys, if you look through all their marketing, all the messages that Rensport is doing, there is zero talk about physics. Zero. No details whatsoever. Which is, I don't know, is weird. I don't know. If you're a sim racing game, you want to talk physics. And Automobilista does that a lot in their development posts. Ours did it a lot with ACC. iRacing has lengthy posts, super lengthy posts about their physics. But in Rensport, I haven't heard a single credible talk about physics other than we want to make the most realistic sim. And that's just not enough, because the sim racing crowd is mad people. They go into detail. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they think they need to do something that's more for the masses or so, and that's why they're not going into the detail about physics. But at least for me, for the hardcore sim racers that really care, they want to know what's going on. And driving the game, it doesn't feel like something good is going on in that game. So we are too busy working on physics to be able to talk about it. Yeah. And I mean, all these games, they all share the same base to some degree. It's all easy engine 20 years ago. Well, stretch, right? And there's probably a lot of differentiation about that. A lot, okay? But it's all stemming from the same framework at some point. So, yeah. What else do we got? Yeah, and then LMU, will see if the DLC kicks anything up, but I don't really see it, because the DLC doesn't change anything about the game. There have been apparently no physics updates, or nothing noticeable, at least. There was a bit of, well, there's new content. And yeah, the Lambo, just nothing special. Drives like all the other cars. Same vagueness. It doesn't grab you and tell you, bam, bam, this is nice. Do this to me and I'll follow. Drive along with me. It's just like, yeah, okay. Don't treat me too harsh, please. Okay, be careful. Oh no, there's the TC. Oh no, there's the front slug. I don't really know how to convert your steering. Please don't rush me around the track, okay? So that's a Lambo for you. And the Peugeot was nicer. It just feels like the Peugeot has more detail to it in what data they got or something. Yeah, Rebel Ring was nice while it lasted. Yeah. I don't know, like it's the same thing in ACC. They you need to voice all the cars. Maybe I'll try something. But it might just be not all of them have too much to it. I think the Lambo, the BMW, the what else is there? Some I never touch probably. I think that even the Cadillac has a good engine sound, but I still think it drives the same way as the LMP2s, more or less. It's only the Ferrari that shined a bit, and now the Peugeot had some different feel to it, but everything else just felt the same. And also the GTEs, they, no matter where you put the engine, they all feel the same. It's, I don't know. Let's see what the GT3s bring, but I don't think that's the area where they really want to or can actually compete with the other games. Doesn't make sense. They are all so far into it already. I do not know the plans for dedicated server now. I have no clue. I don't know if they talked about it because I didn't check. I don't know where to check. Do they put this on the website? Do they put it in the forum? Do they put it in their Discord? Too many sources to stay up to date. There needs to be like one place where you get stuff about a game. Maybe it's on Twitter. Who knows? Yes, Timo, exactly. That's why I say ACC is really good in being the GT3 them, because all the cars really have their individual character in terms of everything you do to them. Of course, the patterns you do in the game, how you brake and all that, they're all similar, but the cars just respond different to the same input, right? If you do the same input to a Ferrari or to a McLaren or to a Mercedes, they're all gonna drive through the corner differently. And it doesn't feel this way here in LMU. Yeah. Somewhat, right? That keeps ACC alive sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, I only drive the BMW mainly, and sometimes it just gets boring and you're fed up with it and how it behaves and all the limits you run into. Even though it's fast, you still run into limits with each car, and you just get fed up running into the same limits time and time again. And then you drive a different car, and everything that was bad about the BMW suddenly is good on the, I don't know, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren, whatever. And you run into other limits there that you want to deal with that then sooner or later become annoying. Then you switch car again and have a different experience with things that are good and things that are bad about this car. And that I feel ACC is really unique in that regard. So you're right. I second that. So we wanted to have a look at what is up in LFM this week. So let's bring it up. Any car in ACC is good, I'd say. Just don't take the Porsche, perhaps, because it can ruin your style before you even have one. But all the cars are fine. Whatever you like is good. Spa and Kielami. Yeah, sorry, I was going to bring it up here. Here to be precise. Where in my stream? Oh, here I don't have the banner. Yeah, so we have, wait, I can do it here. Spa for 45 minutes and Kielami for 25. I feel, what's the more populated one? I always feel it's the 45-minute races are actually more interesting. 25 is just, I don't know, over too soon. More Red Bull Ring. Oops. The special event though in, what's that, 3 days. Try Honda. Yeah, don't take the Honda. Yeah, right. Kielami, I don't know. I'm not a particular fan of Kielami. And not a particular fan of Spa either, but it's a better track to race on. Matt Chemist 75. I am good. I went. Oh, you're not even asking me. Sorry. Oops. You do, you guys. Yeah, 25 is more chill race. 45 is better to watch. But yeah, I was gonna let's just go through Spa real quick. Cover a few points. Just kind of the main important point of each corner or corner section or something. Because that's what I maybe want to do week after week now. Just give everybody at the start of the week a heads up of what is useful, what is there to watch out on each particular track. I'm fine again. What bad habits Porsche induces in ACC? That you will start using the throttle to stabilize the car instead of using the throttle as the means of acceleration, because the car is so sensitive off throttle. Especially when you buy the pro setups, the car is going to be shit to drive. It's super sensitive and it's going to be slower for you. But not if you buy my setups. Then the Porsche will be very tamed and balanced and a much nicer experience of the Porsche in general in the game. Actually, then it works as a beginner car. So, spot is. Let's load up ACC. Is still a game running? Steam indicates everything is, well, doesn't matter. We just click on it. Marketing. Like there are some cars in ACC where you as a driver do not need to create the rotation. The car can just do it. When you turn the wheel, it will rotate. And then there are all the front engine cars, more or less. I think exception might be the Bentley that also rotates quite freely. But if you have the Aston, the Merc, the BMW, they rely a lot more on trail braking to create the rotation, and they rely a lot more on giving it enough throttle to keep the rotation through the corner. So I think in general, you're just driving the front engine cars quite a bit different than all the other cars in ACC. And when you step from the start, you step into a mid-engine or rear engine car where rotation is just available in all scenarios, then I think you'll find it hard to step into the front engine cars later, because suddenly you as a driver have to create that rotation because it's not God-given, so to say. And that's why I think to learn kind of driving habits, it's better to go with the front engine cars because they teach you the trail braking better. I think the Lexus just off pace. Maybe they fix it on 1 or 2 tracks or something. But if you want to drive like a rare car, it's going to be the Nissan, I think, which has gotten a little better in the past. I think on Red Bull Ring, for example, the Nissan is almost viable. Yeah, and the Mustang. I forgot about it because it's still new. It has this even more, right? Into the corner, the car is just not willing to go. So the Mustang has it even worse in fast corners, just not willing to rotate at all compared to other cars. So yeah, best beginner car is tricky. They all have their reason, but I think for just learning the game, a front engine car is better, and then you choose what you like. Now, I think the feedback on the brakes is not good because the ABS masks it. But if you learn to listen to the ABS, it's telling you a lot. And you, as soon as you start the trailing, you only want to hear the ABS very occasionally. And if you hear the ABS the entire time, cracking down on the engine, cracking down on your brake input, then you're doing it too much. You want to ride along the brakes so that the ABS barely engages in the trail braking. And that's what good feedback is. Frankie Cake, thank you so much. Now I got the DLC back in the pocket. And you got the license already or still working on it? But I'm fairly sure you'll have it soon, mate. So thank you very much. I clicked like. Yeah, I feel the Hungary track guide is a bit long, but there's also so many corners. The most important part is if you want to break it down on Hungary, keep repositioning the car. Never get lazy because the corners are always connected. Keep repositioning. Never get lazy between the turns. You always got to think what's the next best spot to be in on the track, and keep going at that. Never breathe. I think, yeah, Christopher the Finkus Aris was much more knowledgeable in terms of physics. And of course, since he was doing the game, he also knew what was modeled, what he was talking about, and how it should function because he decided how it should function. And for me, I'm on the other side. I need to explore it and kind of assume what the plan was and how it actually works. But there's, of course, there's the realm in where the game works as intended, and then there's the esports setups where things fall apart a bit. All right, we wanted to single player is probably perfectly fine here, right? Hot lab practice. Maybe not with that much time, whatever. Let's go noon. Because then the shadow is not our way. And we're gonna go to spa. I'm blind. Here's spa. Let's have a quick look at spa. Oh no, did I set rain? Damn it. Let's go back. ACC loading times are such a charm. Clear. And then you see how much power draw ACC has with 150 FPS, 200 watt. But that's the LSS. I don't think LMU Ultimate has the LSS, right? And do we do driving? Or do we do... Yeah, I think we do driving. But we don't have the game selected. My fault, sorry. Stupid, of course. Man. Maybe we take that one. Hello?
Green light, show them what you got.
Oh. Have to change steering wheel settings because that ratio is most certainly wrong. Here's my ACC profile. Yeah, we can do another car actually. I don't have setups though for others, most likely. Let me check. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? What do we revive? Maybe the Audi? Do we revive the Audi? Where is it even? What's the Audi logo? Am I blind? Oh, it says Audi. That's why I was looking for this for the rings. GT2. R8. Kind of R8. I kind of decided, I think, with Aiden to do maybe a Audi bundle. In my case, with drivable setups. I don't know what Aiden is planning. Probably min-max esports. I don't know. Thanks, Christian. I'll check it out. I think I have an Audi setup though. But Audi has, I think it has 640 steering or so, 620 like the Lambo.
Green light.
Oh. Oh no, it has 720 even. So this is way too sensitive. One sec. Which profile do we deploy? Probably make a new one. Add profile. Audi. And then set it to 720. There you go. Now it's synced. Nice. Garage setup load. I do have a few. Which is the latest? January 2023, September 2023, September 2023, Q. I guess we take that then. The Go setup. Go 2. I use that for coaching. So I think we just take my own. Q safer. Let's see where we end up. Aiden setups, they are also on Popometer, but we haven't started the Audi bundle yet, so it's going to take a bit until they're there. Yeah, I was thinking that. That's why we maybe should do this. I'll leave the the steering wheel on so you can see this better. But also now we can use Armamentario so you can see the inputs. It's going to be pedal overlay refresh. There we are. It's a bit high for the Audi, but we'll leave it there. But I think the Lambo, even the esports setups, they are not driving very sensitive. You could just take out, like for all the Lambo setups, you could just reduce the negative toe or like go positive, in fact, and then it's going to be nice. Not really loud, is it? Oh yeah, that's why. Better. And yeah, we'll have to see with the TC here, because you see it's engaging all the time. So probably TC1 is the maximum we can drive in the Audi, or maybe it has a secret setting where maybe TC3 or 4 it works. Well, let's find out about that first. Oh yeah, that's a loose setup. Nah. 3 also cuts a lot. Yeah, that's a loose setup. That needs fixing. Let's try ABS 4 if it does something. No, it cuts a lot without even accelerating. Yeah, that will be the challenge, to make it somewhat drivable with TC. That will be my target, I think. 5, no. It just cuts way too much power. It cuts it all. Yeah. Like that is just... Oh, maybe? No. Yeah, look at it. So. TC2 you say? Oh, it's warm. I probably don't need that even. Let's see what this does in the first place. I think for the Audi, you, especially on Spa also, even if you're a beginner, you want to bind buttons for TC on and TC off, or TC1 and TC0. So you'd always go TC0 for Eau Rouge, for example, and then TC on or TC1 again once we're approaching the corners here. But here it doesn't engage, so maybe TC1 is going to be fine, I think. If you're not slamming the throttle, you can drive around it. That's fine. Might be a bit loose. Yeah, we were just gonna have a look at the track really, but I got distracted now with the car. And the setup this year is too esporty already, too much focus on lap time, and I think we want to make a bundle with Aiden, so everybody 2 or 12, 13 tracks. Maybe Timo wants to join us with the Audi, and then it's just 8 tracks for each of us, or 9 now, 8.5. And then we would have the bundle completed quicker, which would be really good for everybody else, I guess. Yeah, no TC here, so I guess TC1 is fine. So let's do somewhat of a track guide, and I'll just point out the important points per corner, just so you get an idea. Should you go into LFM this week on Spa? We'll start with turn 1, I guess, and I'll go a bit slower. So turn one, if it's just one thing, I tell you, right? Instead, you want to do a late apex. So you stay outside for longer and you come to the inside. I'm exaggerating things here, okay? But you want to be late on the inside and then you have a nice and straight exit. This is way too pronounced the way I'm doing it because that probably costs a bit of time, but you want to have a straight exit, especially with cars that have bad traction. Eau Rouge, it's all about getting a very late entry here and make it a quick one. And then very, very little steering. The smallest steering you can apply is already going to cost the car speed. And to be fast on the straight, it really, you got to work within 5 to 10 degrees for Eau Rouge, and then the speed on the straight will be fine. Using track here is important, so we're braking on the curb. Then we're carrying speed onto this curb. I need to slow down because there's much more to say. On that curb, it's completely fine to use a bit of throttle to stabilize the car. And through the section, what you want to focus on is how you exit it. So we're thinking of 2 corners ahead and how we are building speed onto the next short straight. So your target is to stay a little tight here, because staying tight here will allow you to stay a little tight here. The tighter you can stay here, the more comfortable you will be to turning in here from the widest position, and that will allow you to carry speed through this turn here and onto the straight. And this is where the lap time is going to lie, right? Okay, so the focus in Les Combes, which was the corner we just drove through, is on the straight we're on right now. So you're sacrificing turn 1 and 2 of Les Combes to have a great turn 3 of Les Combes. That's the target. A bolt bundle. Ah, okay. No, then you do you. This one here, and 180-degree corner, we're doing double apex. So we're driving along a first apex heel, still brake applied, still brake applied, still brake applied, and we're going a little wide in the corner. Okay, not too wide. I'm probably exaggerating here again a bit, but middle of the turn, you'll find your slowest point, and then aggressive throttle, create the rotation again, bring the car back to the inside for a late second apex. And now, important thing, already thinking of the corner ahead. You want to keep it somewhat tight, or let's say middle of the track or something. You definitely don't want to go here onto that curb, because the next corner is coming very, very soon, okay? And you have no time to get into a good position. So you want to stay middle of the track and have time to get over here. Ideally, you manage to go onto the curb. But if you go onto the curb, go all the way. If you only use red and orange, not gonna work. You want to go onto the green stuff, and then you have nicer turn in, but it's a more tricky way. If you are not yet capable, ignore the curb entirely, stay on the tarmac. Gonna be fine. But again, make sure to exit the corner before Brussels, somewhere middle of the track. Don't go wide, because then you're running out of time to reposition. This corner, some cars will be able to take the curb. I think most by now can. You can use it or not. Just use throttle a bit to stabilize the car, which is fine in this corner. And try to get the rotation done before you get to the AstroTurf here, because that's so slippery, you'll not be able to turn the car there. Using curb here, much easier for the braking. And then again, we're looking at something like a late apex. Come to the inside, and then here, like just where the ideal line starts, fading to the outside again. This is why you want to be on the inside. And then it's also fine to slam the throttle. That's, yeah, hard to say much more about this one here. Next corner, it's going to be same principle as in Les Combes. We are trying to have a late apex. So we keep speed up, keep speed up, keep speed up. And now we want to come to the inside, just very late. So we're opening up the left-hander. This is a good position to have for the left-hander. And then you're turning into the left from a really wide position. Then it's also easy to grab the curb. And you also not have a lot of issues with the track limits here on the exit. It's all about how you plan the corner, where you're tight, where you're wide. This one, also late apex, is going to help a charm with getting the car straight, well, getting the traction down and building speed for this here. This corner here is always going to be flat. You don't have to worry about it, or it should be. If it's not flat for you, be quicker in the steering. Flick it in, okay? As long as you're full throttle, the cars are stable. But if you lift and flick it in, you're gonna die, okay? Stay full throttle if you're aggressive with the steering. This one should be easy. Flat turn as little as possible in Blanchiment, else you're scrubbing too much speed. And then last chicane. A lot of approaches are possible, but I would again focus on the exit late apex here. Open up the left-hander. I'm exaggerating this again. But then you're gonna have a late apex here and very nice traction onto the straight. The only problem is if other cars are around you who are doing a different approach, you're likely gonna crash. So let's try this a little faster with a late apex here, inside now, then throttle. Very easy exit, nothing I need to do, would even work with TC off. Or Rouge then all the way to the left, quick flick into the right, and then very little steering in the corner itself to not scrub too much speed. Can even clip the curb here in most cars, but here you want to be straight. The left one is not actually a corner, you just go perfectly straight. Now for the next one, braking 100, 105 maybe, just to be sure. Climb the curb and then prepare the third of the corner, okay? We don't care for the first one here. We don't go fast here, we open up. That's too much. We open up this one. Now we're tight, and now we have time to reposition. Very nice entry here, and gonna carry a lot of speed. Easy flat out from way earlier than the apex. Same here. First apex, now go a little wide, go wider, slow down, now back to the inside for the second apex. Stay middle of the track, okay? And if you can, climb the curb, be careful there. Climb that curb, middle of throttle, don't just slam it, okay? The car will take throttle if you're halfway through, 70-80%, fine, but don't just slam it. Easy on the brakes. The more you brake, the more it rotates here, okay? In high-speed situations, mid-engine car, rear-engine car, it's gonna rotate a lot depending on how much you brake, and the more you brake, the more it's gonna rotate. Here, we're waiting, late apex, on throttle, keep it tight, wait, patience, in, and, well, it's actually difficult for me to drive slow. And another time, we're going for late apex. I feel the Audi is able to take higher gears than I'm using here right now. So let's see. Maybe we just do this here until 2 p.m. or something. We just start with the Audi right now, okay? This is still my somewhat not safe setup. I feel this is too, yeah, just dancing a little too much, especially the high-speed part is not great. It's a bit too sensitive, I think, to be called a beginner setup. RPM wise seems you need to short shift a little bit. And I guess we won't need first. Enough torque in second gear. DC engages, so more than enough power. Fuel is gone. Oh, shit. Unfortunate. But okay, then we can start doing some changes to the setup. I'll just... Yeah, actually, I don't need to hide it. Honestly. Current setup. This is the... Okay. So, I think this is still too aggressive, especially because there is so much rake on the car, right? For a setup for beginners, I'll probably lower that. That is just too aggressive. It puts the bias way too much on the nose. So I guess we'll probably end up with something that is... Let's try 4 millimeters less or something. You see the balance shift is actually not that great, but we're losing a lot of downforce. So perhaps we're trying something different. We just keep the rake to keep the performance, but we're gonna make the front end much stiffer, perhaps. That could be an option to make it stable. We could reduce the range here to allow it to dive less and give it stability that way. We could also increase the range on the rear, which is perhaps making it more nice to drive. But importantly, I think we're gonna... Not actually sure, this is already quite fine here. We can just do more and see if it influences the traction a bit. Other stuff we want to do, this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. We can try something here, actually. Gonna go lower with that. That should give us traction, but also gonna give us a bit of understeer in high speed on power. See how that goes. Let's see, I feel we want to be stiffer on the rear bump, perhaps, to allow the rear to grip up faster, which should also perhaps make it a little more predictable. And where we go up here or so. Just stiffen up the front. Maybe we just go 2 millimeters down here, okay? And then we already made quite a few changes that could perhaps make it nicer to drive. But it needs a test, as always, to see if it actually does. Maybe we go lower on the rear in the end. Ah, that's one more thing. That's one more thing I want to do. Just give it a bit of preload. That reduces some of the problems. Let's go higher a bit. It will stop the car from rotating aggressively off the throttle. Let's see. But I think rake is going to be very impactful here. And I also think the esports setups, they are running a lot of rake and then just putting a very stiff front spring. No frame. The target is to not go TC0 because most people can't drive it. Yes, in esports environment, I totally get you to extract every tenth out of the car that it's capable of to be competitive. Yes, we want to be TC off, but it's not an option for 90% of people or more. So we need to build setups that work with TC. You can't forget that GT3 are gentleman cars and they are driven by gentlemen both real life and in the sim. That's just a fact, and we're making the setup for these kind of guys. So that's already not as brutal as the rear coming around. Yeah, it's not as sensitive now, right? It's not as auto rotating. Just off throttle, gonna be fine. Well, they are gentleman cars. They are specifically built around people who can afford it, which typically is gentlemen. Yeah, that's a bit too understeer almost. I can see how the front end is turning in and out of the turn. Yeah, so the Audi has a very small window there I feel we have to hit. But now the rear is same TC setting, much less of a problem already. More of a relaxed drive already like that. So I want to do it off here just to not get an accidental engagement off the TC. Oh yeah, that's a problem. Okay. So we can't take this flat anymore, but this needs to be one of the targets with the setup. So the changes we did now make it more stable, but it won't rotate through Rouge. So perhaps we need to increase the range on the front again. Or block some of the range on the rear. This is also good when you go off the throttle, it doesn't suddenly start rotating like crazy, which is important. One of the important things for a car setup, for non-esports people, okay, is that the setup rotates the same amount in a variety of driving situations. So if you hit the brake, it should rotate a certain amount. If you accelerate, it should rotate a certain amount. If you're just off the pedals like I'm now, it should rotate a certain amount, and it should never overwhelm you, or at least very rarely. And in all these situations, the rotation should be similar, because then there are less surprises for inexperienced drivers, and they don't have to worry about too much about the car underneath them, and can actually focus on where they need to place the car instead of where the car places them, right? So this one we can take that one flat. Let's see. Travis, lots of fun, I guess. Maybe there's some. And no steering needed. No, it works. Once the tire is heated up, it seems to work. But of course, for the bundle, there's going to be a little more fine-tuning here. Yep. Did I count this here once this lap? So it might already be too safe. Much more room on the brakes there, can be way later. What was my lap time here? Oh, that's slow. Yeah, it works if you're really fast in the steering. No, just invalidated. But it's going into the turn, and then there is a point in the corner where I think it's hitting the bump stops and then it starts understeering. So we need to give it a little more range there. Oh, I think I'm just braking too early, mate. That's why I need to let go for a minute on something else. I'm parking it before the corner. Yeah, that curb is still nasty. But it's not snapping. It's stepping out on the rear, but it's not snapping. Hey, Mank. Or Mancy. Yeah, exactly. Like when I notice I'm too slow, then yeah, I have to let go off the brake. Pressures are a little wrong. Seems to have been another patch. I think second gear is fine. Not a 16 yet. We will need a 16. Let's try how aggressive I need to be right now in Eau Rouge to make it through. But yeah, we need to change a little bit there. Yeah, if the timing is right, it works. But would be better if timing wasn't as crucial, if it would take the turn more easily. Let's see. That's a fine line between having the rear under control in the turns and not having too much understeer in the very fast corners. Off tracking a lot. I'll find a solution to that. Ah, it works. Or you can make it work. Yeah, the only bit that's a bit annoying right now is that the car is not balanced in the sense that it will have turn in, then it starts understeering, then it turns in again. So we need to kind of, it has oscillation, so to say, and how much it rotates. So we need to fix that a bit in the set. Gonna be some work, I feel. But once we figure that out, we could probably convey that to a lot of other tracks. What do you mean pixel peeping? I'm just not... I don't know how the word is used. Oh, and yeah, another issue of the Audi seems to be rear tire temperature. Like, we're not pushing here, but the rears are already quite warm. But yeah, that's because we have two ducts. So for qualifying set and 30 degrees, that is probably fine. I feel we're going to do something like this. This will allow us to use more range on the front again. And at the same time, reducing the rear range a bit to compensate for the lower rear end. So we keep rotation of the fast turns. And maybe we just want to decrease the softness overall of the setup. That might be an issue. Haha. Let's see if that's already enough to get it through Rouge nicer. the curbs are modeled. How much pixel peeping of curbs is enough pixel? But what do you mean by how much pixel peeping? Porsche at Nords. Yeah, don't hit the curbs, basically. That's gonna be the advice. The curbs are just too high for any car. Yeah. Only the very flat ones. All the others need to get around. Maybe we increase that back a tiny bit. Maybe that also helps in Rouge. And that can actually be the maximum. A little more here. Again. Let's change that to what we just been using. I don't think TC2 does much, so might as well ignore that, to be honest. And here, let's do a little more. Not have the sharp turn in. Oops. Let's try, I want to try more here, okay? Just to see if the car takes it. I know in the McLaren they're running quite a bit of rear toe now. So maybe that works here. And because, what was the... Yeah, we can actually just increase those. It's going to have a big impact on the front. The 4 clicks are going to be fine. Here's 1, raise it 2 here. And I think it's going to be almost fine on the rear temperature-wise now. Pressure-wise, rather. Well, the Porsche has the issue, especially with race Q fuel. The Porsche is just very unbalanced weight-wise. And the rear is gonna be bouncy. Because there's a lot of stuff bouncing on it. You can stiffen it up, perhaps. Or give it a lot of range either on the rear to stop it preventing of going into the bump stops, or you make it really hard to prevent it from bottoming out, depending what the actual issue is. Your daily? Well, we're thinking about doing a bundle for your daily with drivable setups. Not esports setups. But I need to get warm with the car. I'm not going to manage that today. It's going to take a while to build stable, but somehow still quick. That's not going to be enough to just lower the rake or something. And the front end is a little bouncy over some curves. Yeah, I'm thinking so. But it's gonna be a couple weeks before we manage to complete that. But we'll see. Maybe we're fast, maybe we're not. And we're trying to make it drivable with TC without losing too much time, so we need to give the car a lot of traction. But it doesn't look too bad, honestly. It just engages. It just engages in places where it doesn't need to. Yeah, okay, that's much easier now, I'd say. Yeah, the thing with the Audi is it has a lot of kilos because it can go really fast with aggressive setups. But I have a feeling some of the principles of my Porsche setups are going to carry over. Where we built an unresponsive front, but a very responsive rear end. And that could stabilize it, I think. It still works here. Expected worse. I think one of the differences of the NA cars in the game in general versus the turbo cars is that they will respond with low throttle inputs at a little already. So when the Audi is in a situation where the rear tires are already at the limit somewhat, then even with little throttle input, it will quickly spin up the rears, at least the inside rear. So it's also rolling a lot, so maybe we need to reduce the roll further, go with a hard rear roll bar, but tame it otherwise. Yeah, we will have to be a little quicker, I think. Hot laps are probably 15 low. But that's esports stuff. And I'm far from pushing. But yeah, we can get through here now easily. That shouldn't be an issue anymore. Mate, it's very tricky. It takes months sometimes. And there's still a couple people in the queue, but now we have kind of a SRO break until September, I think. So I'm gonna be on holiday next month a bit, but I will have more time to work through the list now. MacD, thank you. I'm surprised it still turns full throttle in high speed. I was expecting it to understeer now, but that still seems fine. And it's not doing any hectic, surprising things right now. But yeah, it's certainly not going hyper fast. Over 30 degrees, guys. 30 degrees on Spa has its impact. But 16s at least. Okay, I'm not gonna dabble into this anymore. So it's gonna be, let's say, 7 degrees is gonna be at least 7/10 here. Give it more time. There's certainly a 15 available just with that setup as well. Okay, so it's not super slow or anything. Well, bring time, because the coachings, they are long. But I think there's a lot of value in there, and you will also see that most of the thing I say to people is just going to repeat because everybody is doing the same mistakes. So if you're able to kind of take from the coaching and look at the things you do in your driving and find the things you do, then perhaps that's already very helpful without getting a coaching yourself. And let me actually save this here as the even safer. Well, I don't know, Jakob. It depends how quickly I get through the other coaching. It's always a bit tricky because I need to kind of align on dates with everybody individually. So it just takes time. I just don't just run into a coaching. I just message someone, then we find the date, then we prepare for that. Sometimes someone will have time within the week. Somebody is like, oh no, now it's going to last a little longer, or we can do tomorrow. It's a lot of flexibility in all of that. So I'm stepping into the March signups. Yeah, I'll reach out to more people and line them up, maybe 2 a week or something. That should be working. Then there's like 10 people or something like that. If everybody still responds, that also something happens because I'm too slow. All right, I'll work on that Audi further. Perhaps I'll just post what we have right now. I'll post that on the Discord, okay? And then you guys let me know how that works. You'll need to adjust the pressures for the temperatures. This was now 30C, kind of worked. Just a first step. But just so you get a glimpse, perhaps, that it doesn't have to drive super sensitive to be somehow useful, okay? So, and then we're gonna, or I'm gonna fine tune that, make it more drivable, hopefully. And perhaps that brings the Audi back a little. Say for here. A session is how long it takes usually. It doesn't make sense to say a session is an hour, because sometimes you have longer tracks, sometimes you have a shorter track, sometimes you find the more regular patterns the driver has, and then you don't need to look at every single corner because things start repeating real quick, and then you can fix it rather quickly. But sometimes people are doing very different mistakes in every corner, and then you got to go through more principles, for example. So it always depends a little. Like if you're really far off pace, you're probably doing big mistakes. Then we will spot them real quick, and they're gonna repeat. Like you're just going way too fast into the corners, braking 10 meters later than the pro or something like that. That's common, right? People brake too late, and then they complain that they're not making the corners. I can't hit the epics. Yeah, you're trying to go faster than the fastest. Don't do that. And then sometimes it's more delicate where people just overwhelm what the car is doing, or they're driving the esports setups and the setup does things they don't understand. So they learned habits of working around the setups, but these habits also hold them back because now they stop the rotation of the car. Yeah, we were working through these possible issues everybody has. And yeah, sometimes it takes longer, sometimes quicker. Yeah, we just had, I wanted to have AMS2 honestly, but we're just running out of time. For AMS2, what there is to say, I think that it's not far out now to appear on LFM. And I think, well, I'm always in the internal forum, so I'm always mixing up information that is public and that is not public, so I'd rather not speak. But yeah, then again, it's not that sensitive after all. Their patch number is increasing, so we should soon see 1.6, I'd say. Yeah, no, Audi's very efficient with the wing, so you can go max wing on the Audi without losing top speed, and also the car becomes hypersensitive without the ring. It just, a lot of the downforce of the car is coming from the wing still, even if the floor is important. But it's a very big wing producing a lot of downforce, but not a lot of drag somehow. So you will go with a lot of wing on the Audi most of the time because it becomes otherwise undrivable. Okay, let's call it a day here, guys. I thank you for tuning in. Also welcome Cranky Cake for becoming a member. So I hope you find value in all the videos that are there already. And then we'll see you this week. I'll probably try to take on one of the LFM races this week at some point. There's also the Dual Cup on Zolder, though that's definitely not happening. Spa on Sunday, endurance. How long is it? No, it's a 6-hour race. Or was it? No, it's 4.5 hours. Very long. So probably just dailies. I'd say just dailies. We're not doing not like big barbecue. We just turn on the well, machine is a stretch, right? We just turn on the barbecue, put a couple things on it, drink a beer. That was under the week, during the week, wasn't it? So not getting wasted. That was nice, all good. Yeah, maybe on Monza, when you go really low with the rear ride height, you get away with less wing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, nothing else from my side. We looked into the new MOZA wheel, which we didn't even check the price point, did we? We did not check the price point of this new MOZA thing. One sec. Where's the Chrome thingy? Here. It says buy now. So what is the price of it? Is it loading? It's loading. We wait. We wait more. There we are. 830 euros. So it's on the pricey side of things. It doesn't look too bad, I'd say, but I'm not sure what to make of the display. Your choice. Okay, that's that. I need to walk the dog, and I probably need to try and get some lunch because I'm not it. I don't want to cook already. Maybe I will cook. We'll find out. Like Tesla made it, but is it responsive on the Tesla? I actually haven't sat in the Tesla yet, and looking at how much of a madman Elon Musk is, I don't think I will. If I go electric, it's gonna be a different electric car, probably Polestar or something. Nah, you're gonna be fine with the rookie. Just stick to the principles I mentioned in the video. Don't try to be the fastest man in the world, because for the license you don't need to be. You just need to get around the track in a clean manner. And so dial it back. Don't try to go fast. Don't try to attack the corners. It's perfectly fine to go at 90% of what the car can do. You can really stretch here, okay? I know it's difficult for beginners, but you can really cruise into the license. You don't have to push at all, okay? Yeah, I know. It's a tricky bit, but maybe do dry exercises. Don't just sit there, look at your brake bar and go 10%, 20%, 30, 40, 50. So you get a feeling for the position on the pedal, how much pressure there is perhaps. So because while you're driving, it's very tricky to look at your brake input and how the car responds and manage everything at the same time, because you're just overwhelmed. That's just normal as a beginner. You're overwhelmed. Several inputs or several feedback mechanisms are flying at you. The wheel does something, the game, the sound does something, the visual does something, and you have both feet managing something. You have your fingers changing gears, and you have your hand turning the wheel, and a lot of stuff is happening at the same time too. So to take this apart into what does what is really tricky. So that's why it's hard to learn trail braking on the fly unless you already know what you're looking for, so to say. Maybe for the trail braking, try to listen to the ABS, how loud it is. If it's really, really aggressive and ABS is kind of engaging all the time, you're probably braking too much. So maybe you can find a way to reduce your braking alongside kind of the aggressiveness of the ABS sound. And the less ABS engagement you have, the closer you are to the perfect point of the trail braking there. Azatec Invicta, okay. And how many kilos have you set them up to? Or how many, whatever the value is they use, right? How much of the range, how much you feel you're pressing. It shouldn't be too easy to reach 100%, right? You want to have some range you work with. So it's not the equipment holding you back. Like if your big toe is enough to reach 100%, it's way too sensitive, okay? Maybe I can show you perhaps. Is it still on? It's not, right? How do I show this best? Like you see, I'm moving in the seat, and this is probably 30% braking or 40 or something, right? There's actual thing going on, just pressing the brake. And if I press 100%, it's like this. I'm moving quite a bit, okay? It's pushing me in the seat. So, oh, okay. No, that's a lot, mate. That sounds like a lot. Okay, but you're comfortably reaching 100 and there's no problem being everywhere in the entire range. Okay, no. Then it's just time from here. It's no setup issue. Yeah, in the beginning, I think in LFM, do you use a back wedge? What's a back wedge? No, I'm just sitting in that chair. There's nothing else. That's all fine. I should probably tilt the chair forward, but then it's not comfortable anymore. But then it would put me just into the seat, not up in the seat when I brake. But I'm used to that completely. Like my entire experience, the feeling I have in the brake, it's everything. How much pressure is in my shoulders, in my lower back, in my hip, in the leg, knee, and everything. It all comes together. 130. Okay, you're strong people. But you can still reach 100%, right? Without getting knee pain and all that. Copy. All right, guys. Let's call it a day for now. Wish you best of luck. I'll dabble into the Audi setup a little more. I posted it on Discord, so just grab it from there if you want to give it a go. It was just a few clicks compared to the previous set I had, and was already a lot safer and more chill to drive. So let me know how that is, and then we can kind of work in this direction with all the other setups and tracks. Well, I don't have it that high. I have 50 kilos, Milos. No worries, guys. No worries. Speak shortly, and I'll walk the dog a bit now. Bye.